What? Well, I can't right now. I'm about to make a video blog. Well, tell him I'll call him back. No, I can't. Tell Obama I'll call him back. I can't hold his hand through every crisis, please. All right, thank you. Hey, this is Ron Armstrong, director of the indie short film War is a Bitch. You know, yesterday my developer called me and she said, Ron, how would you like to see War is a Bitch in 3D? And I was like, oh, cool. Can you make it happen? She says, I'll send you some test clips. So as I'm waiting for those test clips to come in, I got my 3D glasses, and who knows? If they look good, maybe in a couple of months you guys will be seeing 3D War is a Bitch. Cool, right? 3D, the latest thing. So I know I haven't made a weblog in a while. I've been very busy. I apologize. I have been writing my new feature film screenplay, which I'm happy to say is done. I'm really happy with the end result. I've sent it off to the proofreader. She's reading it now. And I've also been working on a couple of websites from the clients that I have. But more importantly, I've actually finished my own website, which is a cool social media website for filmmakers. It's going to give filmmakers some tips, tricks, and techniques on how to put together an effective social media campaign for their films. And speaking of that, I want to talk a little bit about a social media campaign. Now, you've heard me say often that, you know, just because you post information about your film on Facebook or the screening to your film on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn doesn't mean that that's an actual campaign. You know, we have to start getting out of that notion that just because you put it out there, people will come. You have to think more targeted and more strategically. And what I mean by that is you first have to start by identifying your niche. And once you've identified your niche, you have to start stoking that base, because once they become excited about your project, they then become advocates for you, and they'll spread the word and they'll get the information out there to the second and third tier level audience who may not have been interested in your film initially, but because your base was stoked and become the advocates, they now bring those new second and tier third level audiences into the fold, and you have a bigger outreach. So that's more in lines of what a social media campaign has to do and what it has to accomplish. You know, I don't subscribe to the theory that you go out there and you post a trailer of your film on Vimeo and YouTube, and hopefully people will see it, and you'll get an audience, and everything will be, you know, great. It doesn't really work that way. Your campaign has to be very specific to your type of film, to your type of genre. There's not a thing as a one-size-fits-all. You don't take a bunch of arrows or darts and throw them at a board and hopefully something will stick. That's a bad way to approach things. So I want you to start thinking in terms of strategy, in terms of putting together a real comprehensive plan that, you know, encompasses an online and an offline strategy. And I want to give this advice too. You should start thinking about your social media campaign for your film, whether it's a short or a feature, very early on, even in pre-production. Start putting together a plan. I even say that when you are going to approach investors or a producer, have something, a concrete plan documented that you can present to them, because when they see that you have this really cool marketing plan, they're more likely to invest in your product. So those are just some words of advice that I'm giving out there. So start thinking about that. And the reality is the business model in the social media arena has changed, and things are changing so rapidly. I mean, just 2 months ago, what we thought was social media, which were the big websites, you know, again, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, everything has now changed, which is going to bring me to the topic of this video blog today, which is I call the game changer, which is a new piece of technology I think is going to revolutionize the industry for filmmakers. It's now more so about access to content and delivering the content, because people are now seeing the content on different platforms, for example, from their smartphones, from their tablets, from their PCs. So you have to start thinking in terms of, how am I getting my film, my content out to them? And more importantly, how are they going to access it? Are they going to be looking at it through an app? Are they going to be looking at it through a desktop, and again, a smartphone or a tablet? Now, back to the subject of the game changer. And what is that exactly? Well, that is the tablet market. And I have here an iPad, more specifically the iPad 2. And I believe this is going to assist in revolutionizing the industry for filmmakers, because there's going to be so many uses for this, and some of them I'm going to go over with you in just a bit. But if you're interested in learning more about the tablet market, there is an issue of Laptop Magazine, the May 2011 issue, as you'll see here, that just came out, that does a really good comparison of all the tablets out there, from Zoom, which I really like, to the BlackBerry Playbook, which I don't like that much, to the Samsung Galaxy. So I would advise you get this issue and read through it. It'll give you a really good understanding of the pros and cons of each tablet. But by far, the iPad stands out in the market. So let's talk about that. As I said before, the business model has changed. It's now about outreach. It's about how people are going to access your content and how you're going to deliver your content. Now, one thing that's great about the iPad is that when you're at a networking event or when you're sitting down pitching at lunch to a producer, you can simply pull out the iPad and show them a clip of your film, or actually show them your film, and it's a really, really good piece of eye candy, and it's kind of impressive. I've actually done pitches where I've put my entire proposal on Keynote or PowerPoint and did the presentation right there with my iPad. And when you do that, they love it because you can have so much interactivity and so much functionality. It's great. So think about that. Also, the iPad has an iMovie app, so you can do some editing of your clips, and it's great. There are some limitations there, but I find that it's very simple to use. It's very effective. So that's a great app that you can get out of iTunes. Now let me go over two apps that I think are essential for filmmakers, and this is going to give you an idea of how the industry is changing so fast and rapidly, and how content is going to be delivered in a very different way. And let's if you look right over here, you'll start to see I have the first app, which is called Flipboard. Now Flipboard is awesome. Now let me explain what this is. It's like a magazine on your iPad, but the great thing about this is it aggregates content from the social media sites. So what it does is it goes to your Facebook page, takes all the feed from your friends that you have there, and it compiles them into like a magazine setting. So you can actually flip through it, read the content, and the content comes in the form of text, graphics, photos, and video that you can just tap on. You'll see the video, you'll see the text. It's wonderful. And again, it's all in a type of a magazine style layout. So it is awesome. And this is exactly what I mean by how is the content going to be delivered, because now it's not just about having it on these compartmentalized, social media sites, but now it's being delivered through an app via a platform such as an iPad. Now, the next app that I think is really great is going to be Show You, and Show You is awesome. And basically, this is a very streamlined app, and what it's showing you is an aggregation of video content only. There's no text, there's no graphics. It's all video that you can see, again, from your social media sites, from your Facebook, from your Twitter pages. It takes that content, take the feeds, the URLs, and it posts them right inside Show You, and you can just see all these cool videos. So it's awesome. You should go on iTunes, and again, these things are accessible there and they're free, so you can just download those apps. The next thing, which is really cool, that a lot of people in the industry are starting to get into, is starting to read scripts on the iPad. Now what I do is I have an app called Goodreader, and there's a bunch of different apps out there where you can put a PDF version of your script in your iPad and do some editing. And one of the wonderful things you can do is that you can work cross-platform. So I'll do some edits on my iPad with my script, come out with another version, and then send that directly to my desktop, go to my desktop, and start to continue working on that. So it's really good for that, and there's an app called Goodreader you can get for that. But there's another app that's specifically made for Final Draft. And I know a lot of people who are screenwriters, like myself, use Final Draft. And what this does is this app allows you to read the script that's in the Final Draft, so you don't have to transfer it to a PDF. The app is called FDX Reader, and you can get it on iTunes. I think it's about $8, but it's well worth the money. Somebody sends you a script. Usually, if they send you the script that's in Final Draft, you open it, all you're going to see is a bunch of XML. So once you have that app, you can just simply tap on it, and it brings it into correct format, and you can start reading your script. So anyway, I just presented you with a lot of information. I hope it wasn't overload. But that's what's really happening in the industry. Things are changing. As we move forward, there's going to be a lot more uses with the iPad, with the tablet market. I think, again, that the iPads are leading the way in this industry. You may find that you want to go with the BlackBerry Playbook or the Zoom. It's up to you. But I would prescribe that you get a hold of these devices, start making use of them, and it's going to be a real game changer for this industry. I'm Ron Armstrong. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at ronkarmstrong@gmail.com. Thanks.